Hey foodies! Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make some Jamaican beef patties with a nice flaky crust, Roma's kitchen style.
Girl, better can't cook. Ticket there, you pay your pretty look. You want to live a restaurant and come done man bank book. Cook, recipe book.
I'm working with 3 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour today. I'm going in with 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar here. Next to this, I'm going to be adding in some Jamaican better pack curry, and this curry is packed with flavors. I'm adding this curry because I want to get the crust nice and flavorful. So I'm going in with just 1 tablespoon of the better pack curry, and the link for this curry will be in the description box so you can get your better pack curry. Next, I'm going in with 1 tablespoon of turmeric powder, and this will help alongside the curry to give it that nice color. Next, I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of salt. Add that all in. Then I'm going to be mixing everything together with my whisk here. And this is just to get all the ingredients so far nice and evenly distributed. We're now moving to the first step to achieve that nice flakiness, right? We need maximum flakiness because that's what a Jamaican beef patty is all about, that nice flaky crust. Now this is 110 grams of unsalted butter and 50 grams of vegetable shortening. You want to make sure that this is nice and cold because we don't want that butter and that shortening to actually melt in our flour mixture right now. We want to just mix everything together, kind of crumble it so everything comes together as a nice breadcrumb like consistency. Add that all in. Now if your kitchen is very warm, you just need to use a fork to do this, but my kitchen is very cold right now. That's perfect. So I'm going in with my hand. I'm just going to press everything together, the butter, the shortening, and the flour mixture until everything is just nice and crumbly, just like breadcrumb. Alright, that's it. Look at it, guys. It's looking just like breadcrumbs. This is perfect. This is how you want it before you put everything together. Alright, so I'm going to be using 3.5% fat milk. Here in my bowl, I'm making just a little way in the center because I'm going to be using overall 1 2/3 cup of this 3.5% fat milk. And you want to use that because this should be filled with fat bases to give it that maximum flakiness. So I'm adding everything here, moving it around with my spatula just a little bit, and once everything kind of comes together, then I'll use my hand to form this dough. Just need to use your hand, work it. This will give you a nice arm workout and just make a nice soft sticky dough. You don't want to overwork the dough, you just want to get all the ingredients so far nice and together. Alright guys, about that time, look at this dough. It's nice, very soft, and it has some stickiness to it, which is what you want because we're going to be adding more flour to this further on. So you want the butter and the shortening in this to keep cold because you don't want it to melt. That's a part of the process to achieve that nice flakiness. Now you want to rest your dough in the fridge for at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. I left mine for 1 hour, and this will help to keep that butter and that shortening nice and cold. Now on to my beef, guys. I'm using 500 grams of minced beef here. Now I like seasoning my beef from the get-go and leaving it for a little. So I'm adding here 10 grams of all-purpose seasoning, and this is Maggi all-purpose seasoning. The link for this is also in the description box. So next I'm going to be adding to this 1 teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, also a teaspoon of ginger powder, a half teaspoon of black pepper, and also a half teaspoon of salt. Next, I'm going to add to this 6 crushed pimento seeds. This will give it such nice flavor, but ensure that you crush your pimento seeds. I've also added a tablespoon of olive oil to get everything nice and together. Here I'm just mixing everything up, and then I'm going to rest this in the fridge for half an hour. About that time, my beef is smelling so good right now. So it's time to cook this. Now in a pot, I've added 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. You don't want to add too much oil. Now in with my fresh seasonings. I'm going in with 1/4 of a red onion. And my pot is over low heat. Next I'm adding in 2 stalks of scallion, 1/4 of a Scotch bonnet pepper, and I've added a little of the Scotch bonnet seeds in it, and 1 clove of garlic. I'm also going to be adding in some carrots and some more pimento seeds, 6 crushed pimento seeds, and a 1/3 cup of diced carrots. Now as it relates to the Scotch bonnet pepper, guys, add as much Scotch bonnet as you would like, because Scotch bonnet peppers are very hot, so if you can't manage the heat, don't add much seeds. Here I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of dried thyme leaves. Of course you can use fresh thyme leaves, and I'm just sauteing everything here until it's time for me to add my beef, and my pot is over low heat now. As soon as I add in the beef, I'll turn my stove up to medium. Now in with the beef. Once you do this, you want to use a fork or something to kind of mash your beef out just a little, because you don't want to cook this in some lumps. You don't want this to cook in lumps. Do this for a few minutes, then after a few minutes, you can cover your pot and let it sit for just about 5 minutes to actually kind of steam and get all the redness out, basically. Alright, then here it is. Well, most of the redness has gone so far. This is smelling good. You have to get your filling nice, seasoned, and smelling good. Here I'm adding 1 tablespoon of dark soy sauce to change the color of the beef, because I don't want the beef to be white. But the thing is, dark soy sauce, it adds color and it adds flavor, but it doesn't have too much salt, which is good. So next I'm going in with some ketchup, just 2 tablespoons of ketchup. You don't want more than that. Mix everything together. Then you can leave this and cover it for another 5 minutes. Then after the 5 minutes, I'm going to be adding to this a mixture of half teaspoon browning and 1 cup of water. And the link for browning will be in the description box. If you don't know what browning is, you can check that out. Now I'm going to leave this on low flame for just about 10 minutes. But before I do that, I'm going to be adding in some more all-purpose seasoning. Just 1 teaspoon, and you should taste your pot as you go along to adjust the taste according to your liking. Alright, do that, and then you can cover this over low flame for 10 minutes. Now after the 10 minutes, I'm going to be adding in a half cup of breadcrumbs. And this is to get rid of any excess liquid that might be in your beef. You don't want your beef to be too wet, because if your beef is too wet, all that will go through your dough, and you don't want that. Half cup of breadcrumbs is perfect. See, the beef is nice and moist, but not too moist, and it's very tasty. Now this is good. Turn your stove off, cover your beef and allow it to cool while you work on your dough. Now back to my good looking dough, nice and soft. Here I'm flouring a nice clean surface, and you'll need about a half to 1 cup of flour to actually flour your surface and also your rolling pin. Now we're going to get ready to work the dough. This is why you want your dough nice and a little bit sticky from the get-go. So flour your rolling pin. That's good, and I'm going to roll this dough out until it's nice and very flat. You want to get it very flat right now because this is the next step in achieving a nice flaky crust for your patties. This is perfect. Now, in order to get that flakiness, we're going to work in some more butter and shortening. Here I've shredded my butter, and the shortening cannot be shredded, so that's it for that. It's 100 grams of butter and 50 grams of shortening, and I'm going to be spreading the shredded butter, half of it, all over this right now. And I'm going to be rubbing some of that shortening all over as well. No matter what you do to the shortening, it just won't get as hard as the butter, so I was unable to shred it. Alright, now that's all in. You just want to fold your dough. Alright, flour your surface a little bit again. And then you're just going to roll this out. You're rolling in all that butter and shortening that you just added. That's good. Get ready again to add more butter, the rest of the butter and the shortening to this. Lovely. Once you get that all in, you're going to repeat the same steps. You're going to be folding this again. This is what will help you to get all that flakiness. Fold it again, and then now this time, this is the last rolling. You're rolling it for the last time, so you need to roll it out nice and flat, just to about 1 centimeter thick. That's it right here. And I'm just going to cut mine into, this all depends on you and how big you want your patties. I'm going to make a really big one, then some medium ones and some small ones. I'm not going to say exactly how much patties you can get from this dough. It all depends on how big or how small you actually want to make your patties. So go ahead and cut them up in, of course, the sizes that you desire. I've added my beef to the food processor, and I'll pause this for 1 minute to get it nice and smooth. Now I'm going to be teaching you how to make the patty. Take some beef, add it to your dough. Don't add too much. Spread it out just a little. When you've added enough, you fold it, and you fold back that fold, and then you brush that fold with some egg wash. And right where you're going to seal it, that's good. To give the edges a little style and more sealing, you're going to dip your fork in some flour and just press it against the dough. Do it all around. That's perfect. Now I'm going to cut away the excess dough all around. Then I'm going to add some egg wash to my dough. Lovely. Rest this one on your tray with some parchment paper. Here I have 3 so far on my tray, which I'm going to bake first for 25 minutes. And then I have 3 more here that I'll bake after, and these, they don't have the egg wash on them as yet. You want to put the egg wash on when you're almost ready to bake these. And you'll bake for 25 minutes at 350 degrees in a preheated oven. Then voila, look at this, guys. This one is nice and hot. Look at the crust. Nice flaky crust, guys. When you're eating this, crumbs all over. This definitely brought me back home because I haven't had patties in a while. Look at this, guys. All my patties nice and ready. Jamaican beef patties, ROMA'S kitchen style. And you cannot have your beef patties without some cocoa bread. Of course, if you want this to be cheese patty, open it, add a slice of cheese, pop it in the oven. That's cheese patty. Don't worry yourself, you'll see this cocoa bread recipe very soon. The link will be in the description box. So of course, if you like the video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your post notifications on. Until next video.